It's Lofa and good morning to you people of the internet. Welcome to the show. Well, today is the last part of my 3-part Doctor Who review. So, if you guys haven't been watching from the beginning, I suggest you start at the beginning. Otherwise, here is just a quick recap of what happened in the last episode.
Pretty much everything went to crap for our trio. After returning from the year 100 trillion, the Doctor, Martha and Jack discover the Master is Harold Saxon and is now Prime Minister. He plans to bring in a new alien race called the Toclafane, promising new diplomacy. But when the Doctor attempts to stop him, he's stopped and aged by 100 years with his new laser screwdriver. With the TARDIS turned into a paradox machine, the Master uses the Toclafane to reign supreme over the Earth, ruling from the Valiant, with only Martha Jones being able to save the day now.
But how does this all end? Will Martha find a way? Or will the power of the Master become absolute? Well, let's find out. This is Last of the Time Lords.
We see planet Earth enter terminal extinction following the Master's conquest, before we flip ahead to 2008. Martha has been on a year-long journey and has returned to Britain for the first time since escaping the Valiant. She encounters a doctor named Tom Milligan, who is her guide to a professor who she believes can aid her. I don't mind Tom Milligan, though I would say he doesn't really leave that much of an impact on me as a whole. But he is a good actor. Any fan of Lucifer can tell you that. We also get this kind of legend that Martha has a way to kill the Master. It's teased continuously, and I personally don't mind how it's built up, though the final payoff is what we should judge. Then we return to the Valiant. This scene is where we see the Master act even more like the Joker, even to the point where the original character starts to become a little bit unrecognizable. And here's another Joker and Harley Quinn comparison. He beats her. You can see the bruise under her eye. Okay, I don't have a problem with domestic abuse being portrayed. I mean, the abusive relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn is part of the duo's relationship. But it doesn't fit the Master's motif, if you ask me. He dances crazily with the elderly Doctor, proclaiming the next day is the day the Toclafane go to war. As we see the Doctor and the other prisoners plot a little bit of a rebellion, we return to Martha and Tom, who are venturing Britain.
All over the earth, those things. He's even carved himself into Mount Rushmore.
Best to keep down.
And rockets are being built, created from scrap metal, the Master's own war fleet. After a brush with two Toclafane, they continue on their journey, but not before this.
They didn't see you.
How do you think I travelled the world?
Well, I could see you.
That's because you wanted to.
What? How does that work? The key doesn't affect you if you're sexually attracted to the person? Russell, I think you should rewatch your previous episode. You have a massive contradiction there. Back on the Valiant, they stage the rebellion, which at first seems to go well, until the laser screwdriver bit.
Isomorphic controls. Which means...
Clever move on the Master's part. The Joneses are taken away and the Doctor is used to send a message to Martha. It is good to actually move the focus away from Martha from time to time, and do see what life is like under the Master. Ugh, that makes prequel Yoda look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Okay, just kidding, guys. Prequel Yoda wasn't badly done, but honestly, this is terrible CGI. Doherty, Martha, and Milligan come up with a plan to disable a Toclafane to find out what's inside. After managing to succeed, they go to the lab and provide some examination. While the Master and the Doctor have yet another confrontation, Doherty opens the down sphere. Inside lies a very deformed face, which actually looks like the inside of a Dalek that was destroyed in parting other ways. To their surprise, it's alive, and it knows Martha. They're the humans who were sent to Utopia. We get a bit of a crossover as the Master and Martha explain how they came about, with the Paradox Machine. The humans, after arriving in Utopia, which was nothing more than another barren, dying planet, regressed into children, cannibalized themselves before the Master offered them a chance to go back home. I actually really liked this idea. Although clues had been laid out from the start, it was a surprise for me watching it as a kid. Also, idea of humans being their own worst enemy. Not a bad idea, but it's not really that original, come to think about it. After silencing the Toclophane, Martha finally spills the beans on what she plans. A gun was apparently built by Unit and Torchwood that could kill the Master or any other rogue Time Lord without any possible chance of regeneration. She just needs the last component in North London. Forget all roads lead to Rome. In the world of Doctor Who, it's all roads lead to London. Or Cardiff. Tom takes Martha to Bexley before they go in the morning and hides with the slaves. They barrage her with questions and she tells them about the Doctor.
He has saved your lives so many times and you never even knew he was there. Seen him. I know him. I love him.
Oh, for goodness sake, Martha, we get it, you love him. We've been hearing about this all season. Just stop, please, for the love of all that is good on this earth. Stop. Doherty speaks with the Master and tells him where Martha is, leading him to Bexley. In order to spare the slaves, she gives in. With the bag destroyed and Tom killed, it looks like nothing can stop the Master now. Martha stands before her family, Jack, the Doctor and the Master, ready for her execution. He's planned to execute her exactly as the clock strikes 0 for the invasion. But wait.
What? What's so funny?
Martha explains the real plan and the real reason she went travelling, before unveiling the secret weapon. Using Archangel and all the people who will use one word, it will re-empower the Doctor, but then... What? What? This is Doctor Who, not Peter Pan! Okay, look, using Archangel is clever, but having him magically get younger? This makes the Master's defeat look silly! Okay, yeah, the enemies in the previous finales were defeated with creative Deus Ex Machinas, but they fit the situation and seemed possible in the Doctor Who universe. Even with integrating with the Psychic Network, it seems like something from a Disney film.
I forgive you.
The Master transports himself and the Doctor to the surface, planning to destroy the world with black hole converters and the rockets, while Jack leads the security team, who, wow, miraculously join him to destroy the Paradox Machine. The Doctor calls the Master's bluff and takes back the trigger. He has saved the day once again. While back on the Valiant, Jack manages to work his way through the Toclophane and inside the Paradox Machine, shooting it up with his rifle. Wait. Just a gun? A gun was all it took? Didn't the Doctor say in the last episode that if it was done wrong it could blow up the solar system? Consistency? What is that? The paradox is cancelled out, the spheres are trapped in 100 trillion, and the world reverts to the day the Master managed to kill the President and summon the Toclophane. While Francine is tempted to shoot, the Doctor manages to win her over, and announces he will imprison the Master in the TARDIS. But then... the Master refuses to regenerate for the Doctor as he dies in his arms. It's kind of a Pyrrhic victory for himself. He hasn't won through the Toclophane, but by outwitting the Doctor. He dies, and the Doctor is once again the last of his kind. I think this was a really good way to end this. While fans will be disappointed, this did rule out a possibility of a return without something impossible, end of time, it did represent a victory for the Master. Again, like Batman and the Joker, the Doctor and the Master have a connection, a rivalry, and to see it end like this is something you can really feel for the Doctor. He didn't just lose another Time Lord, he lost a friend, a vital part of him. The Doctor burns the Master's body in Darth Vader style, and the trio part ways, but not before
So proud of me. The face of Bo, they called me.
the face of Bo. Okay, one mystery yet to be solved. How did he become the face of Bo? How did he lose the rest of his body? Then, in the TARDIS, Martha decides not to continue her travels with him, revealing her feelings for the Doctor, but says they will see each other again. I kind of like this ending to Martha's travels. The lovesick companion trope is frustrating to no end, but I like how they did it with Martha. She moves on from him, and I think it's for the better as a character. Rose didn't and finally got the Doctor in a way in the finale of the next series. And it's frustrating. The Doctor's not meant to be romantic, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Once again, the Doctor is alone. But wait, it looks like we may not have seen the end of the Master. But then... And with that, I end my series.
Well, that was Last of the Time Lords. And for a final episode, I'd say it was mixed. Yeah, for what I've said about how out of character the Master is, and for Martha to keep going on about how much she loves the Doctor, those parts were awfully done. But the Master's death, Martha's leaving, and the story behind it all wasn't too bad. But the Peter Pan style return of the Doctor's strength was just incredibly silly. Just why did it have to be done, Russell? Why? My final score for this episode is a 6 out of 10. Looking at the arc as a whole, it was alright. We had a pretty good villain in the Master, we had some pretty good mysteries, and some pretty good stakes as well. But some of the silliness, including in the last episode, really held it back. So, final score for the arc overall is a 7 out of 10. But what did you guys think? Agree with me? Disagree? Let's have a discussion down below in the comments. Well, that's the last episode for now. If you guys want to see me review more Doctor Who, let me know in the comments. But until next time guys, goodbye. Harera.